This is a little different tonight because I'm standing up and it's a little weird. And I have YouTube and I feel like I need to come down for my project, but we'll work it out. And we're looking good on Facebook here. And so tonight we're doing a little bit wild, sweet and wild baby chair. Okay. So what's sweet about it is we're going to do some angel wings on it. And what's wild about it is the pattern that we're going to put on the seat. So we're going to be using a combination of a cheetah print and gold metallic and also a funky pink color. So let's go ahead and get started. So what I did was I painted this whole chair. I'm going to adjust YouTube a little bit. Just give me a second. Needs to come down a little. And hopefully I don't knock anything over. But anyway, so this little chair, I have painted in one coat of putty, which is a color from Dixie. But I kept this part because I wanted to show you what we're going to do with that. So we're going to go ahead and glue this up and then let it dry. I'm going to plug my hot glue gun in here a second so we can work a little faster. So we're going to use wood glue. So this chair had, this was all kind of chipped away. The veneer was chipped away. So I did use Dixie mud. That's chocolate paint, not Dixie mud. I have it here to show you. Here it is. Used Dixie mud and filled in all those little cracks. So it's nice and flat. But we're going to go ahead and cover it up anyway. So this I had done a while back. It's an IOD mold, and it's, I don't even know what it's called, Wings and Cherubs or something, but it's this great big mold here. So I'm going to have to get YouTube down a little lower because it seems kind of weird. But anyway, we're going to put this mold on the back of this chair. We're going to make it go up a little bit above the top. And then we're going to paint it out. So that's why it's wild and sweet. Sweet like an angel, but wild with the cheetah print. Okay. So the first thing we're going to use is some Titebond wood glue. And we're going to put it on the back of this mold. And this is going to be long lasting hold, but we're also heating up that hot glue gun. So we get a little bit of a temporary hold, and I actually call that basting. It just kind of holds it together. I should have plugged that glue gun in a little sooner, but I'm going to go ahead and put this on here anyway and see that I have it lined up, and I'm going to put a clamp on here to get it started drying. I'll eye it up from the back. I can pretty much tell from the back. Okay, it looks like it's even. But I'll come back in with the hot glue gun. But I want to get started. Hi, Kathleen. So I'm trying to hold this and use two hands here. But maybe I should lay that flat. Yep. These things are hard to squeeze open, but we'll be fine. Okay, so again, I'm going to line it up. And I'm lining it up from the back. Once we get it on there, we'll be good. It's those little tab thingies that have to be flat. Okay, so we're going to leave this on here a few minutes. I should have brought a few more clamps, but that's where our hot glue is going to come in handy as soon as my glue gun heats up. So while it's actually starting to, so I'm going to go ahead and put a little hot glue on here just to hold this whole thing together. See, I could have gone ahead and done this, but I wanted to save it for you. So you can see it's dripping, and that's okay. We'll get it. You know what? I'm going to lay it down. So I'm going to lay it down a second, get it in place, and then I'll put it back up so you can see it. How's that for a plan? I'm still bringing YouTube down here a little bit. And I hope that works. Okay, so right now you're just pretty much going to see me. Chair's going to be beautiful. Thank you. Oh, I love that cherub too. Love this mold. It's so big. So it's kind of like one of those things where you have to have the right place for it. And I think this is a good place. You know, wood glue is awesome and it will hold this. But like I said, we're just going to use the hot glue just to help it stay in place for now while we're working on it. So just give me a minute to get this in place and then I'll put it back up. So while I'm holding it down, Kathleen, that's Would You Bend? No, it's actually a mold that I poured. Would You Bend is like a wood product that you heat up when you put it on. This is actually, I used a mold, that mold that I held up, and also used two-part epoxy. I used amazing casting resin for that. So two different things, but they achieved the same results. So both very cool products. So okay, honest, I'm going to hold this up a second here. Okay, now I'm going to get this clamp on here. So I think we need the clamp on these wings. Now this one's up. I definitely should have brought two clamps home. So I'm going to hold this a minute. Throw a little more hot glue in there. You know what? I'll let this one go and we're going to start working on the seat. So, and if I don't see your comments, I'll check them out later on Facebook and I hope to see them as we go on YouTube. So the colors we're going to use Plum Crazy, and then we're going to use Daisy, Chocolate. So Daisy's a yellow color, Chocolate is a deep brown, and then we're using the putty, and we already have that all over most of the chair except for the back. And then we're also going to use some Moonshine Metallics in Gold Digger. So it's going to be a really cool looking chair, I think. Now I will tell you, I got this inspiration from Pinterest. I saw it and I thought it was really cool, but they did a high chair. So, and theirs was also like a vintage pressed back chair. So I don't, that's not what I have. So that's what kind of, hey Rosemary, that's kind of what gave me the inspiration to do the mold on the back. I knew I had this big cherub already molded. So, hey, how you doing, Jay? Good to see you. And yes, Carol, Jay, yeah, so like I said, should have had two clamps. This guy isn't staying on. This might have to be an after edition. So, yeah. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start working on the seat. Going to hold that on a little bit. When you're doing live videos, they don't always go as quickly as good as you want them to, but you know how that goes. I am doing good. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to kind of hold this up a little bit so you can see. YouTube, you can't see. I have to move it down again. Technical difficulties tonight, I may have to lift the chair up somehow. But anyway, what we're going to do, I'm trying to think how I can do this. I know, I can use paint cans. Okay, I'll hold it up every now and then, but here's what I'm doing. And I'm also at a weird angle, so I'm also doing it like a lefty. So That's okay. I can do both. But when you do this, you're just kind of doing commas. Little round, half round shapes. And it doesn't look like much now. So all you're doing is just those little shapes. And it's gonna turn into a cheetah print. Did you make that molding? I made the molding using this IOD mold, and I used amazing casting resin. And you know, you can just do some blobs too. They don't have to be perfect. The more random you do this, the better. So that's all I'm doing here. Could have maybe had a little bit smaller brush, done a little bit smaller one. But if I'm doing it kind of consistently, then it's all good. Oh yeah, they're so much fun. They're so much fun. They're addicting. I make jewelry and everything else using silicone molds and amazing casting resin. And sometimes air dry clay. I find that air dry clay cracks a little bit. So it's okay if you're going for a vintage look. But, you know, most of the time you just kind of want it to be solid like that. It's very forgiving. Like, I see my glue is running. One thing at a time. We'll do our cheetah print and then we'll come back to the mold. And I always tell everybody, if I don't get my project finished, I always follow up. Now I'm dripping glue on the seat. That's not good. I always follow up my projects on my Instagram page and on my community tab if I don't get my projects finished. Okay, I'm going to put a little more hot glue in the mold. I'm really hoping to get on there so you see that, because that's the real impact of this. Let me grab a glue stick. You know, I can prepare for a live for hours, and then I'm always at the last minute making changes, and sometimes they don't work so well. Kathleen, don't forget to like the video. Thank you. I appreciate that. All right, so let's just hold this up. We're almost done with this part of the seat. Just being random, and since this is a bigger brush, we're just making it a little bit bolder. And there goes my glue again. Okay, here's what's going to happen. Taking this off here for a minute, and then we're going to start that process over again. So, you know, when you guys do projects, you know that this happens. I just happen to be doing it on live, so so you get to see that it doesn't always go smooth for everybody. So I'm just going to pick this glue off, and like I said, we'll start that process again. We'll get it. Things don't always go right the first time. So I'm just going to take another second here and put another couple of these cheetah marks on here, and then I'll show you what I'm doing. So that's the only place that I'm doing the cheetah, is on the chair. So it's not quite finished. We have to add another color in. So now we're gonna go to this daisy color, which is a yellow. And we're just gonna put this in the very center. I'm trying to get a little bit smaller brush. Now these are Dixie Belle paints, and These are like older, so I could do the Dairy Queen thing and turn it upside down because it's getting a little bit thick. Okay, so there was a little water in there. But anyway, that wasn't paint that spilled out. So I'm just taking the center. I'm just making centers in here. And this is just like so easy, and don't stress out over it. Don't think it has to be perfect. With the rest of the things that we're doing to this chair, it's going to be really cute. Okay, so not exactly sure if that looks like cheetah, but it's a cute little pattern. And it'll look good with the rest of our coloration, I think. People will get the idea that it's cheetah. And you know what? We can come back in a little bit later, add a little black to it, add a few other touches, and that will pull it all together. Sometimes I pull up on my phone like a pattern and then study it in order to replicate it on a piece. Doesn't always look good the first time around. But like I said, I can put a little black around there. I missed that. When are y'all doing another what? Collaboration maybe? I don't know. I didn't read the rest of what you said. We have a few collaborations coming up, don't we? We have some good ones coming up. Okay, a bag with my brush in it. I always keep a bag handy with my brushes whenever I'm doing my lives. Okay, so I'm going to be working on the gold, but I want to get this applique on the back of this piece. So, Ugly Duckling, yeah, that's end of January, and then we have a dupe at the end of February. You like the challenges? We love doing them too. Sometimes it's, a little hairy until the last minute, but yeah. Okay, so I'm going to try something here. So if I lose you guys, don't fret. Sorry for the close-up and personal, but I want to try this and see if this works, and I really hope I don't drop it. Yours is really challenging. Yeah, I saw your picture. Oh boy. Sorry, I'm trying to prop this up. There we go. Okay, I think we actually have something that might work. Okay, I'm going to lay this down a minute though. My hot glue is really getting hot. I think, I don't know what, yeah, this glue is still tacky, so that might be good. I'm going to pick off some of this old hot glue. I think we might actually, this might work. But I'm going to lay the chair down. Because why fight gravity, right? Okay, and Facebook, I'm going to put my hand in here a second and I'm going to turn you down a little bit so you can see. Okay, I think we've got everybody covered. Whoa. Put you down a little bit more. Okay. So again, we have this pretty tacky with the wood glue, but we need to get it to stay down here. So I'm gonna put some hot glue on here and I'm gonna hold it down and we're gonna say our prayers. I even wish I had clothespins at this point. That might help me. I really, I don't do my lives at my studio or at my store. I do them from home. So I pack up and sometimes I don't pack everything I need. But I'm really good at improvising. So we'll make it work. Like I said, this hot glue is helping to hold this down. The only thing is I should have bent this mold a little bit more. It's kind of has a little bend in it. You can heat these up and get them to bend back again. I've heard people putting them in the microwave, which I wouldn't want to do that, but anyway, I've heard of it. Okay, I'm going to put a little more hot glue over here. I really hate using this hot glue, but I'm going to also throw a little more wood glue under this wing. It's holding pretty good. The wood glue will dry in time, but the hot glue is just helping me so I can get this done for you tonight. Or do my best to, anyway. So I'm just holding this down here. It's actually sticking. Gonna get my paper towel and get rid of some of this glue around here. So the first thing I want to do is take that putty paint that I have all over the rest of the piece and put a coat of that down. It's going to be my base coat before I put that Moonshine Metallics, that Gold Digger color down. Okay, we're pretty good here. Still sticking up a little bit. Sorry, guys. So if you guys are commenting, I haven't seen you because I have my nose buried in this. So when you're doing these lives, Facebook comments stay on the screen and YouTube comments just disappear. So, and I can review Facebook comments later, but Facebook or YouTube comments just go away. So that's why I try to look up every now and then just to make sure I'm not missing anything. Okay, so I'm going to put a coat of putty on here. So this is the color that I used all over the rest of the piece, the base. And why do I keep losing this plastic bag? I'm so used to sitting down when I do my lives that this is weird for me. So I'm just going to put that paint all over everything, including the hardened hot glue. I'm going to try to get in all those crevices of the mold. And again, this is just a base coat because we're doing the cherub and the back of the chair in gold. Okay, I'm gonna put that up and do the back of it. And I'll put you guys back up again. Hope you're not getting seasick. Wow, I'm really sorry. I am struggling with this thing tonight. Okay. Good. All right. And Facebook, let me pull you up a little bit. Thanks for hanging in there with me. Still, YouTube, having trouble seeing that. Oh my gosh. There we go. There we go. All right. I'm going to try not to move that at all. Okay, so this is drying. I'm going to just take a second and hit the back of the chair here. I know you can't see that, but I'm just going to do that back here. So as I mentioned, you know, when you don't have the proper tool for the job, when you do these lives, sometimes you have to improvise. So I had done the mud on the back of the chair, and I needed to sand it. Well, I didn't bring home any sandpaper, and I was getting close to the time, so I didn't have time to go to the basement and look around. So I just used an emery board from my nail file stuff, and it worked just perfectly. So I actually often do that because I do a lot of small work, you know, crafting type stuff, and when I sand that, I very often use nail files. All right, so we've got a base coat on there, and I'm super excited. So what do you think so far with the wild and the sweet? It's only going to get better. All right, so now I kind of have to develop a plan. So here's what I'm thinking. So the back is going to be gold, and these little areas here are going to be gold, and those little areas. So everything else is going to be plum. So what do you think about the arms? Do you think they should be gold, or you think they should be plum? Tell you what, I'll get started and then I'll make that decision. And I think I'm actually stepping on my paintbrush. Not used one, this is a new one. So, so let's get started with the plum. All right, so I'm using a little brush because I'm going to be doing some detail work on this. So I'm going to be just getting right around those edges. So this is why I put a base coat on here, so I wouldn't be painting right on the wood. So everything had a nice neutral base. This putty color is a brown, but it has sort of a pinky undertone. So I know, Rosemary, I know where you are. I know it's cold. But how about everybody else? Is it cold where you are? Because I know I am just over winter already. Has Emily used her things that... I don't... Are you talking to me or are you talking to Jay, Kathleen? Because I'm not sure. Because I'm not sure. I didn't send Emily anything, so. Okay, so I'm just going along this edge, cutting in real close. Anyway, it's a little, I think it's a little less than 20 degrees here. And it's cold. Tomorrow it's supposed to go up to 40 though, so I'll take it. All right, I know you guys can't see what I'm doing on the back here, So maybe we'll focus more on the front, but just more of the same, just kind of cutting in. I'm going to pull this towards me and work here. So I'm very fortunate that I can paint with my left hand too. My mother was ambidextrous, and I guess that I inherited that. Now I do mostly everything with my right hand though. It's just that I can sort of pinch hit with my left when I need to. So when you're cutting in like that, use your brush. So I used a flat brush. So sometimes you just need to get the brush up against it. Like you don't always have to be going back and forth. Sometimes just wiggling it down close to where you want to be will help to distribute that paint. This may have been kind of an ambitious project to tackle on a live, but you know what? It's not always the project. It's getting together and chatting. I live for my Tuesday talks. Okay. So I got a little bit on the back of the chair. That's okay, because we're going to be painting it in the gold anyway. So I know that's going to be gold. I'm thinking the arms are going to be gold too. You think Jay left? Okay. And Kathleen is warm in Texas. Yeah, I guess it is. But you guys had snow, didn't you? Trying to paint and look at the same time in case you answer me. So I don't talk a whole lot when I'm doing these cutting in areas because it's so, I don't know, it's one of those things where I almost like hold my breath when I paint. And I'm at weird angles because, I'm doing it for the camera. So normally I'm, at a different angle with it. All right, so we got that side done. I'm gonna work a little bit on the legs. So as I do this, it comes clearer to me how I want to place it. And I kind of figured that would happen. So everything that's kind of horizontal is going to be gold, and everything that's kind of vertical is going to be in the pink. So I'll do the legs in the pink as well. So I'm gonna flip this around and work on the other side a little bit. And we're waiting for that coat of putty to dry, and then we're going to put some of that gold on there. So anyway, needless to say, I am really ready for spring already. And it will be here before we know it. I hate to wish time away because it flies too fast, but I don't know, I'm just not a winter sports enthusiast. Just kind of, I don't mind it. I don't mind a good old snow day, but just kind of over it. even if we just get this top part done, that'll be good. This is the kind of thing that really you can do pretty quickly. A small chair like this. I also have another, I'm like determined I'm going to finish a bunch of pieces that I have laying around. And just little odds and ends things. So I picked this up, and also like a shaker peg shelf. And I thought, you know, I'm going to paint that in the same coloration. That way, whoever buys this chair is just going to want to buy that shelf too. Problem over here is the light. I have all the bright lights over there, but on this side it almost seems dark. So just trying to be careful here. I did get a little bit on the top of the chair, which doesn't matter because I'm going to go over it in gold, but since this is a dark color, I'm just going to wipe off a little bit of that. The less I have to cover, the better. These detail parts are what takes a while, but it's totally worth it, don't you think? Okay, I'm going to pull this towards me a little bit and get this line. And I'm not a tape person either. I hate to tape stuff off. It's okay if you're doing a pattern or something, but I'm just not a, you know, tape person. Like when I'm painting a room or something, I'll do little areas, but if it's, I don't tape off between the ceiling and the walls. Just try to have a steady hand. Okay, almost done with this. I'm going to flip this around this way, finish this part real quick, and then we'll take a look at it. We'll get started on some gold. All right. Okay, I'm going to hold it up for you. Okay, so here's what we've got so far. What do you think? I think it's cute already. I think the gold is really going to be a knockout. Like I said, I'm probably going to come back in here on this pattern here and maybe do some smaller ones and maybe put a little bit of black in there. I think that it will help it. Because like I said, it was kind of hard to do it with a larger brush and upside down, but I think it's going to be cute anyway. It's like an exaggerated print, I guess you could say. So all my brushes are going in this bag. Thanks for the likes. And feel free to share. Did I just drop paint on my... I did. Somehow, I have no idea how, I just dropped paint on my foot. Looks good, thank you. Oh no, this one's not for a client. This one is just for fun. It's just to sell in the store. Like I said, I'm kind of trying to organize the store. Hi Sandy, thank you. I'm just trying to get the store organized, and I'm trying to use up some pieces that I've had laying around. So this little chair's been in my way. I keep moving it. So, but tonight's the night. This is getting painted. I was going to do some Valentine's stuff tonight. And then I thought, nope, I'm going to do this. Because I would have had to cut out some Valentine's stuff. And I've been kind of busy with paperwork. All right, so what I'm using here, and this is really the end of this jar. This is Gold Digger Moonshine Metallics. And I have another jar here, but I'm just kind of using the bottom of the barrel here, and we'll see how far it takes us. Sometimes it's surprising. Oh my gosh, I love it already. I know you guys can't see this yet, but I'm just doing this cut in part. Okay, I can't wait to do the back of the chair because it's drying, but that's going to be some wow factor there. Trying to hit the side of that so you guys can see. I know I'm shaking you all over the place on YouTube. So this is why I did the coat of the putty over the whole chair first, because if I had just done this gold right over the wood, it would take several coats for me to build up this kind of luster. So with this paint, every coat you add gives it more luster. It's amazing paint. Okay, I know I'm going to have to turn that towards me a little bit more, but for now, I'm just going to work on this little section here, and then I'll turn it towards me, and you guys can see it. So just doing these little cap, or I don't know what you call them, but these just little sections here. And you know, for me just complaining about being cold, in my dining room here, there's a heat source. There's a register here. So right now I'm kind of cooking. But I was cold all day. We have some new neighbors upstairs, and they have the thermostat. So it's been a little chilly. But, you know, it's an old store. It's an old building. So naturally it's going to be drafty. So I was kind of chilly all day. Because I was also sitting because I was doing paperwork. So I was anxious to get home and get warm, and boy am I. All right, I'm going to turn this towards me for a second just to get that a little bit more cut in. But I don't know, is that light showing you how vibrant that gold is? It's just a knockout. I love it. And you know, I could have done some gold in the cheetah part. Could have done a little bit in the centers of that, but kind of just want to keep that separate. I think the black, I didn't bring the black with me. That'll be an addition that I'll have to catch you up on later. But I think that will make a big difference. I do have a watercolor pen. I might do that just. But I also might study the cheetah pattern a little bit more to see how I can make. I've done it before, but this was just kind of very quick and random and too big of a brush. So we're going to go with it. It's going to be cute, but. So, you know, when you go into the store and you see stuff that's already done, sometimes you don't think about all these decisions that the artist had to make or the struggles that they go through. Granted, they're not all doing it on a video, but okay, now I'm going to have to touch up there a little bit, and that's okay. I'm also going to wipe back a little bit with a paper towel while it's wet. Yeah, I'm going to have to hit that with the putty. Okay, I'm going to turn this your way a little bit so we can get the other side. But what do you think? Do you see that gold shimmer? Isn't that cool? It's going to really look cool when we get it on the back too. Usually I distress stuff a little bit or put a little dark wax in the details of those types of molds. But I don't know that I'm going to with this. We'll just have to wait and see, because it doesn't have a vintagey feel. It has a more modern feel. But I do like the idea of the oh, thank you. I do like the idea of the sweet and wild. So I can't help but think of my granddaughter. She is 4, and she is both sweet and wild. So this is perfect. Both my grandkids are pretty amazing. I think they both love to read, and AJ's 7, he's a boy, and I love it when they come over and we do little craft time. If you've watched some of the videos, you've probably seen them in my videos. And we did a Christmas one. And I always, get their parents' permission, and they're okay with it. So okay, I'm going to turn it back towards me a second so I can see what I'm doing. And then I'll turn it around for you to see. And when I started painting this chair, I started it upside down. I always like to paint chairs upside down first to get under those rungs. And I even did on the bottom of this chair, which I don't usually do, but I did. Not sure why. Something got into me. Also going to be touching this up in the daylight because, like I said, those lights make it very bright on that side, and then when I'm working on this side, it's almost kind of dark. So usually Wednesday morning is when I finish my Tuesday talks. All right, so let's turn it around. Like I said, I have to do a little touch up there, but I think it's looking pretty cute. And I think we're good to go that I can put a coat of paint on the cherub. So let's go for it. I'm going to cut in over here because this is the area that's most likely to be dry because of the surface that I painted on. The wood is more porous than the epoxy surface, so it's going to be drier than that cherub. But, I would try to dry it, but, oh, thank you, Kathleen. Try to dry it, but, if you've ever been on whenever I blew a fuse, I just don't do that anymore, so. Okay, so I'm seeing hot glue strings, which is why I'm pulling stuff. And that's another thing too that a hair dryer will do. If you're ever crafting and you get hot glue strings, just blow the hair dryer on it and it melts those little strings. So this idea really totally just popped into my head today to use this mold. Like I said, the high chair I saw had a pressed back chair, and I just remember doing this mold because it's it's a little too big for jewelry. I mean, you really have to know who you are to wear a necklace this large. I did use it one time on a mantle. Even for a lot of piece of furniture, it's kind of big. So, right here. Just gonna turn this around a minute, and then I'll turn it back so you can see it. We'll chit chat while I do the back. I love this paint so much. It's just incredible. You can even use it like to blend in to other colors. They have some beautiful colors in the line, the Moonshine Metallics. If you haven't ever used it, I highly recommend it. It's cool for table legs and stuff. Just give like just a pop. There's a deep woods color that I've never used yet. Speaking of colors, they're coming out with new silk colors. So I'm pretty excited about that. They're showing them little by little. So the silk colors up to now were coastal colors. They were very subdued, grays, blues, browns, whites, black, just very beachy colors. And they're coming out with some bright, I just set that leg down right in the paint lid. But they're coming out with some bright colors, like a bright pink. And I saw a bright sort of turquoisey blue today. So really cool. I'm excited about that. And they're coming out with 3 new stencils as well. And they also just announced our conference. So the Dixie Belle conference will be in June this year down in Tampa. So excited about that too. I have a glue glob I'm trying to get. It doesn't want to cooperate with me. There we go. So originally this chair had a little hole in the back, like a little opening. Now it doesn't. It does still in the back, but not in the front. This is one of those things that when you paint it, you can tell it's going to sell quickly. I just know it. I'm also working on a line of jewelry that's coming out soon. It's my Frozen Charlotte collection. There'll be a video release of that. So we're doing up right. We're having music, the collaboration video with a musician and a model. So that'll be fun. All right, so I think that's all I'm doing on this piece tonight because we're almost an hour into it. And I think it's really cute. It's going to be really cute when it's done completely. And I certainly will show you guys first. I feel like I need to get down like this so you guys can see. But anyway, thank you so much for joining me. Check the description box. I will put it in there for the affiliate link if you want to buy any products. Of course, if you guys that are local, stop in to see me. And I hope you all have a wonderful night. Nice chatting with you too. Thank you. I'm always glad when you pop on. All right, have a great night, guys. Bye-bye.